1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Out there in Banjo land, Mike Heading here. Today I've got a simple up the neck solo for Amazing Grace in the key of G. We're going to work on a bunch of stuff in this lesson. First thing we're going to work on is taking notes and solos that we know down the neck and finding those notes up the neck. And that's really important because if we have a solo that we know down the neck, we want to be able to transfer it up the neck so we can get another version of it. Second thing we're going to do is work on playing this solo out of a chord position. So we're going to play it out of our movable D shape, and we're going to talk about that. But what that's going to allow us to do is eventually move that shape around so we can play this song in a bunch of different keys. Because a simple song like Amazing Grace, you might see it in a bunch of different keys. So it's really important to know how to move that solo around to be able to find it in different keys, and we're going to talk all about that. And I'm also going to do a whole backup lesson on how to play, backup in 3/4, which is really important. All right, so here's Amazing Grace up the neck in the key of G. All right, so real quick, before we look at the up the neck break, let's just make sure we got all the notes down the neck so we know what notes we're trying to find up the neck. So Amazing Grace is a great tune to work on playing down the neck and playing up the neck because we really only need 6 notes. The melody is made up of 6 notes. So let's find those notes down the neck first, and then we'll find them up the neck, okay? So our first notes are going to start on the 4th string. We're going to use open 4th string, and the 2nd fret on the 4th string. And then we're going to play open 3rd string, and the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. And then the open 2nd string, and the open 1st string. So those are the 6 notes to play Amazing Grace. And again, we're not necessarily going to play them in that order. So let me play it real slow, and we're using those 6 notes. Okay, so a very simple single note melody of Amazing Grace. So again, those are the notes we need. So just 6 notes. So good ear training is figuring out how I put those together to make Amazing Grace. Again, those 6 notes are just our potential notes. So we have to mix them up to create a melody, and that's what we're doing there. So play it along with me and try and figure it out down the neck, or refer to my Amazing Grace down the neck tab that came with it, and you can figure out how we adapted those single notes to a bluegrass roll. Okay? So let's find those notes up the neck. So we're going to start on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. That's going to be our low D. We're just playing everything an octave up. And then we're going to play the 9th fret on the 3rd string. And then the 8th fret on the 2nd string. The 7th fret on the 1st string. The 9th fret on the 1st string. And then the 12th fret. So those are our 6 notes up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so those are our 6 notes. Those are our 6 notes up there. And we're basically playing out of this, sometimes what's called the D position G chord up at the 9th fret. So that's where we're going to get a lot of our notes. So best way to think about this song is in a position. So we're playing out of this chord. And we're going to grab those notes. See, I'm staying within my chord there. Okay, so now let's break down the solo. Okay, now we found all our potential notes, so let's put them together and kind of ornament them to make a bluegrass style solo of Amazing Grace. Okay, so let me play the first 2 measures and then I'll break it down. One more time. most important thing about this song is kind of maintaining your position, and using my suggested left-hand fingerings I think will really help. So I would refer to those. They're below the tab. They're the numbers or with the circles around them, and those correspond to your left-hand fingerings: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So index, middle, ring finger, and pinky. I think that's really going to help you make the song, make it a lot easier to play, and it's going to help you move it between different keys, and we're going to talk about that later in the lesson. Okay, so we're going to start up on the 7th fret of the 3rd string with our first finger, our index finger of our left hand. We're going to play that note. And then with the index finger of our right hand, we're going to play the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And they're both quarter notes. And remember, we're in 3/4, so we have to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're not counting to 4 on this song. This song's in 3/4. So we just have 3 beats of measure. So we're playing our pickup on beat 3. So what I would do is count 1, 2, and then play on beat 3. And then we're going to play the 8th fret on beat 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1. One more time. 1, 2. Don't do those too quick. Okay, and then you're going to keep in that position. You're going to hit the open 5th string. And then that 8th fret again. So I did thumb index there. And then I got my first finger up on the 7th fret of the 1st string. And I'm going to do a 9-7 pull off with my pinky. This one's going to take a little bit of practice. It looks more intimidating than it is, I think. The key is to keep the position down. So I'm using my first 2 fingers to help me get some power to do that pull off. So I'm pulling off from 7 to 9, and then I'm going to hit the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And with my right hand, I'm doing middle index. And I'm getting 3 notes there, so it's triplet. Triplet. I'm pulling back away from the strings. I think that works easier than pushing up like that. Maybe if you're on a lower string, that might work better. But I think on the first string, it works better to pull away like that. The other important thing is keeping these 2 down. If you don't have those ones down, it's going to be much harder to do that pull off. Last thing I'd say is make sure you get a good first note. If you don't hear the first note enough, it's really hard to do the pull off. So let's practice that a few times. We're going to use that about 3 or 4 times in this song. So it's really important. It's going to be the same lick every time. So you're going to do thumb, index, and then that little move. You can just loop that. It's really good pinky practice. You can try it with your 3rd finger, but again, I think maintaining this position is important, so I think I would really suggest trying it with your pinky there. Okay, so let's play that measure again. So it's 1, 2. This is a really good song to work on pulling some good tone out of your banjo too. Let those notes ring out. The banjo doesn't have really good sustain, so we need to take advantage of all those notes that we can to help connect the song.